Maryland University. I'm Grace Mills. I'm the producer here, and Megan Jins is our director. And we're here this afternoon to talk to you about using technology to improve your library services when you have no budget. That's what we're unfortunately under. Now, we know we want to get more involved. We want to give our students and our faculty services, but we don't have any money. So what can we do? We are using Source right now. The challenges are, okay, we were built in the 20th century. The library is configured for the 20th century, but our students, our faculty now are in the 21st century, and we are too. So what can we do about this? One, we want to reach the students where they are. A lot of times they are using our study rooms, but we don't see them so much in the stacks using our library resources. And we want to let them know how they can use this. They don't usually come at 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or even 8 o'clock in the evening. They want to come at 2 in the morning when they want to do their research. We can't help them because we're not there. But we want to provide them the service to show them how they can use the library resources. We know that in the future, 24/7 access is going to be the norm. We're not sure that we are going to be there 24/7 all the time, but we want to prepare for that. And as I said before, I can't stress this enough, we have very limited money. So what can we do? Our solution was using Camtasia. Why do we want to use Camtasia? The quality of Camtasia really gave us a good professional looking product. One that didn't feel like, oh, a group of librarians got together and somehow we put this out. No, it's something that we feel good about. We felt good showing our dean. We love to have everyone know about it. It's something also for our budget. As I said again, we have very limited money. So we can't buy Adobe Captivate even on the educational material that they have. They say now you can get it for $199. At the time, we didn't have any money, so it was not a thing. The storage space for us was adequate for our needs. We weren't going to film a 2-hour video every 2 weeks. We didn't have the option for that. So what was storage for Camtasia was adequate for us. And when we started, Camtasia is $179 to use. Adobe Acrobat, it was $799, but I understand now you can get an educational license for $199. You may think, well, what's the difference in $20? But since I'm the producer, every single dollar counts. She may want $199, but no, she has to go with what we can get. So we're going by that. And there are a lot of free, I quote, free add-ons that are available in Camtasia. So we certainly wanted to use that as much as we could. And perks for using Camtasia the product can be used by all of the librarians. We don't have to worry about getting any other assistance from any other law school departments. So it's not a thing of, well, we want to do it on Tuesday, we're planning to do it on Tuesday, and oh, the development people can't come, so they have to put it off. No, we can do it on our own schedule. That was really something that we really wanted. And I know this is a technology conference. I'm really sorry to say it, but we don't have to involve IT. It's something that is completely library in-house. So we were overjoyed because we don't have an IT department in our library. We have a university IT department. So we don't have to worry about creating any schedule with any other people. It's just us. We love this. It's promoting 24/7 usage for our library materials. So as I said before, students will want 24/7 access. This is a way that we can create videos and reach out to them. Wonderful. And technical support, Camtasia has a wonderful technical support for people. You can do it by email, you can do it by phone, they are there, they're very helpful. And considering that I'm somewhat of a Luddite, but I am involved with the money, their phone service is wonderful. They explain everything that I need, so I'm happy. And why all the ways that we can use the technology? The library is in charge of the archives for the entire law school. So we can create videos of different materials that we want to archive. We can promote it to the faculty, to the students, to all the different departments, career services, admissions. They can put it up on their websites, which is also our website, the whole law school. So it's wonderful, one stop for that. We can put legal research tutorials. How many of you have students who actually use print materials, who remember how to use the case digest? Please raise your hands. Well, we found that out too. And we, as the video that we showed before we started, we had one of our students, not our student, but she was posing as a student, one of our librarians, didn't remember how to use case digest in print. Well, we created a video for that. If this person decides at 2 in the morning that they need to get a refresher and they're awake, they can use that and then come in when we're open. Let's say 5 hours later at 7 a.m. they can come in and actually use the print material. So that is one thing that we really love. Web tutorials, we're just starting on those, but not only are we going to use Camtasia for all the different print digests, shepherds, we still have some print shepherds, we really would like to have people know how to do that. We are great on using Chat now. One of our professors actually found out how to use Chat from our different video that we've created, so we're great on that. We have several different ways that they can get interlibrary loan. Our faculty know about it, we know about it, our students have heard about it, but do they use it? And they also use multiple systems incorrectly. They put citations in incorrectly. They come to us with 60 interlibrary loans that they need in 2 days. We're using the videos to show them that no, they know how to do it. We'll teach them how to do it. And we'll teach them, hopefully, that they won't do it in 2 days or less. We're working on that, but we've got great promise on it. And finally, the library catalog, which is web-based, but sometimes you wonder, do they really know how to use it? And with all the different new ways of getting into library catalogs, do they want to look at our local catalog? Do they want to look at a WorldCat catalog? What's the difference? What are they going to find? Camtasia is wonderful to show them how to use it. And then the equipment that we use, software, Camtasia, which was $279. The Muvee Autoproducer, so that we can produce the videos, that's only $55. The Windows Movie Maker, now it's free if you have Windows. So hopefully, how many people are using Apples in their library sources? Well, for our Windows people, it's free. For Screencast, which is also an extra editing function, that was only $99.50 a year. So all total, which I loved, it was only $622.49, and we were able to use it as many times as we want to this year. We're going to use it full force. Now, Megan is priceless, and I will defend her from any of the other library directors that are here, and for your video, anybody who sees what she's done, you can't have her. She is our director for all of this. She's been getting both our student workers from the circulation department, some of our librarians. They're all like, can I be in the video? Can I be in the next one? So it's going to be wonderful. And now I'm going to turn it over to Megan.
Thank you, Grace. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the process that we go through when we are starting to do a Camtasia video. I'm going to actually show you Camtasia. A few slides you're going to see is actually showing you how to do the editing and adding callouts and transitions and things like that, and then showing you the finished product and the slide afterwards. Now if we start running out of time, I'm just going to bypass the how-to and go directly to the finished product, just so you can see what it will look like, so you can see how you want to use that for your library. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about setting the stage. First thing we do is the brainstorming process. We have to come up with the idea, what is going to benefit our students most? The first video that we did was on Muvee Chat, just because we had this great new chat system and nobody was using it, and we had no idea why. And we thought, well, you know, it might just be that they, you know, they're too cool, they don't want to talk to the reference librarian, or it could be that they just didn't know how to use it. So we put together a video on Muvee Chat, and actually we saw that our usage went up after we put that out, and people could watch it and see, you know, how to use it. Our idea for creating these videos is not to just show, but to get the user, have them have an experience. If you came in early, you saw we played a video that had an educational film aspect to it. It's a little campy, but it gets the students laughing, and it gives them an experience. Instead of just showing click, click, click here, it shows them exactly, you know, how to use it, but it lets them remember, oh yeah, there was that really crazy chick who was doing this stuff, and it had, you know, Lawrence Welk playing in the background. Our other Muvee video had a old-time feel with like a silent movie with the sepia tone, so people actually remember those, and you know, they comment on them, and they tell their friends about them, because, you know, of course we're, you know, being dorks and we're making fun of ourselves. Script and storyboard is really important. You can't just go into it, you know, with a camera and say, all right, let's shoot, let's go into action. Planning them out is really important, especially when you're doing a very long video. The case law print one, I had a script about 20 pages long. Of course, a lot of that got cut, you know, on the cutting room floor. But at least it gave us many options, and it didn't, you know, we could shoot all in one day. And then at the editing process, we could leave stuff out, put stuff back in, and we didn't have to go reshoot and have someone dress in the same costume or just do anything like that. The third part is bribing the players, and while Grace says people actually want to do, at first it wasn't easy to get people. They didn't want to, you know, be made fools of in front of their classmates. But we do have a couple budding thespians, and so we were able to tap them and have them come in and work for us. And as long as they keep a good attitude and are willing to get a little crazy, and you know, they're not too stuck up about it, I think we have a good process, and the video turns out really well. So what we use to film is the flip, and if you went to the cool gadgets a little while ago, you saw they talked about the flip there. So this is what it looks like, and what we use is the flip tripod, just to get those still shots, and it really helps make it look like a good product, you know, because you're not doing the shaky thing. You know, people aren't getting vertigo and getting sick because, you know, everything's all shaky. And the tripod's only $14. It's a great add-on. So if you're thinking about doing this, I would suggest purchasing the tripod. The flip itself is about $140 for the low end and $199 for the high end. When you go to the high end, it's in HD. We just have the low end, but as you can see, well, the flip, the internal memory is 4 gigs. You can get 120 minutes out of it. Pretty good resolution, runs on AA batteries, so you don't have to worry about, you know, having a special battery. And then it comes with FlipShare, which is a software editing tool. Now, I personally don't use it just because it's not as robust as Camtasia, but if you want to get a video and then automatically just email it to a friend, that's one good thing you can use the FlipShare camera for. So how does it look? I made this video on a Saturday. Turn up the sound a little. And while I'm showing you this, not just to brag about the view outside my window at work, I'm just showing you how good it looks. You know, for the small price, it actually does a pretty decent job of getting, you know, nice resolution. So let's talk about Camtasia. You can get a 30-day free trial. Has anyone actually used the free trial? Yeah, so far? It's really nice because it's a full version. So it's not just going to give you parts of it. You can actually produce videos if you do it within the 30-day time period. So I really suggest, if you're interested in this, download the trial, the full version on a trial basis. It doesn't take up much space on your hard drive. And you can, it's really easy to uninstall. It's not going to leave a bunch of spyware or anything like that. TechSmith, the people who produce Camtasia, do really great online tutorials. So if my small presentation here didn't give you the full idea of what Camtasia is all about, you can go on and look at their videos. And the user forums are wonderful. It's a bunch of people who are using Camtasia, talking about Camtasia, when they run into problems, when they want feedback about their videos, when they want to suggest new add-ons and upgrades for Camtasia. This is where they go, and it's a really good community, very supportive. So let's take a look at actually Camtasia. This is the editing interface. Here is the viewing window where you can actually view the video that you've imported. The clip bin, this is where you import all your media, your videos, your audio, anything else that you need, the PowerPoints that you've created, you can import those there. You can record the screen. One of the best things about Camtasia is the ability to record the screen. So if you're showing how to use a web page or a catalog that's on a web page, you can actually show how to use that. Another good thing is you can record your PowerPoint while you're doing it. And that's a great way to, if let's say that you have a professor who does a really great session on something, you can record his PowerPoint and make it available to anybody at any time. So let's really take a quick look at how you actually record the screen. So this is, when you click record the screen, this window pops up. You can choose to do the full screen, or you can customize it if you don't want anyone seeing that you know have Perez Hilton up on your Google browser when you're doing your recording. And it's simply just pressing this button to record, and it gives you about 3 seconds to get set up, and then you just start shooting. I recommend when you start playing out, just try a bunch of different things. You know, start recording, just play around a little bit, and see and get the feel for how it looks. Just because there is somewhat of a learning curve when you're doing this, and you don't want to say, I have a video due tomorrow. Let's start now, because it might take a little bit more time than that. One cool thing about Camtasia is its ability to highlight the cursor and highlight your clicks. So it makes it easy for people to see what you're doing on the screen. And I have what better way to show Camtasia than actually to use Camtasia? So this is a video that I made, and you can see when I click that it highlights that really well. Or when I'm moving my cursor around, it's highlighted so you can follow it around. You can use those both at the same time. You can use them individually. I try to use them individually, otherwise it's just a little too distracting. So recording PowerPoint, once you've enabled this application, in your PowerPoint screen, it's going to show up as a toolbar. And all you have to do in order to start recording that PowerPoint is to press the record. Now, you can record audio at the same time, but some people find that a little distracting to do because it's like chewing gum and walking. But Camtasia gives you the option of recording your audio later. And so you record your PowerPoint, you know, clicking through, and then you go back in and narrate. Importing media is extremely easy. You just press that button, and then it brings up. Oh, and then you get. Oh yeah.
A question about audio. How's the audio off of the flip cam?
Not so good.
Okay.
We've had to do some workarounds with it.
Okay.
I'm hoping to improve it a little bit later and trying to find something to help boost the audio.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons we did our silent film for Muvee, and then you probably saw it was narrated over with the video that we saw for case law in print. So let me show you importing your clips really quickly. All you have to do is go click on imported media. It's going to pull up your screen. All you have to do is open those. It pulls it right into the clip bin. Double click to view to make sure it's the right video that you want. And then all you have to do is drag and drop to get it in there. Very simple, not hard to use at all. So adding narration, you go to your voice narration. And we use the Logitech headset. We find it very easy to use. It's not the highest, it's the most expensive. It's kind of middle of the road. I think we bought ours for $40, and it's probably the best. You don't hear any background noise. You can move that out. With Camtasia, you can actually customize it for if it's a female voice or a male voice to get the best sound recording out of it. Any type of clicks in the background, you can actually minimize those, so you're not distracted by hearing clicks.
The director wanted the high-end version. The producer said no.
And to get that, just go to the audio setup wizard, and that'll help you customize it for your voice. It'll help you do tests to make sure you hear the best sound coming out of it. And simply start recording, and it'll create a WAV file, and you import that into your media bin, and you can just drag that and drop that onto the audio tab, and very easy to use. Editing, also extremely easy to use. Once again, we have a video here. We're watching our video to see where we want to edit it to, what we want to use out of this. I pause it where I decide I want it, and then all I have to do is click and drag, and my video is automatically edited. And very, very simple to use. Now, there's a lot of add-ons that editing that you can use. Zoom and pan, callouts, transitions, captions, and we're going to talk about these each individually. Here you just go to your edit screen in your toolbar, and you just click on each one of those individually if you want to add something. Zoom and pan pretty much is self-explanatory, so I will show you how to use it. Just click on your zoom and pan, and you'll see the green the frame. This is what you're seeing. So anything within the frame you're going to see on your video screen. You can zoom in very, very easily, just to get the right look. Drag and drop, so you can drag it around the screen to see exactly where you want to go. This duration tab tells you how long it's going to take to fade in, fade out. And the quicker you fade in, the more of a vertigo aspect. So you want to make sure when you're recording your screens to go very slow, because if you do want to do a zoom, you're going to have to have that time so you can actually zoom in without causing people to feel a little sick. What that actually looks like when you are seeing it for the first time. There's your zoom and pan. Callouts, one of my favorite things to do. Adding callouts is really easy. You just find where you want to add your callout in the screen. Pick what you want your callout to be. You have a wide range of things that you can use. Choose what you like. I like the arrows just because it gives you direct contact here. This is what I want you to look at. Just enter what you want in there. Once again, you're choosing your fade in, fade out. Make sure to leave enough time when you're doing your fade in, fade out, or it's going to look a little choppy. If you are, there's just a bunch of stuff you can play around with, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now, just to get the best look for my screen. I'm doing it on Google right now, which is white background, but when you're doing things with different backgrounds, a blue or red, you really have to see what looks the best and what's going to keep your students' attention without being too distracting. So once you're done, click finish. It's very important. The Camtasia will yell at you if you don't click finish. It'll pop up saying, "Teacher, click finish," and you'll feel very chastised. So I'm just going to warn you right now. This is what it looks like in the final product. I'm going to do my Google search, and you saw the fade in. And once I type, you can choose how long you want that that to last, and then my fade out. Now, some of the callouts that you might not have seen when I was going through and that I want to talk about a little bit more. There's the blur, the spotlight, and the highlighter. The blur is useful for when you are having to log on to a database and you don't want anyone to know your personal information, or when you just don't want anyone to know that, my name is Megan Jens, and I don't want everyone to know that. The spotlight is good just to really draw in the user's focus onto one area. And the highlighter is basically self-explanatory, but once again, drawing the user focus. The hotspot is one that I really like because on Camtasia, if I have a hotspot, If I click on that area, it's going to stop the presentation and take you directly out to that website. So if you're talking about using a catalog, you can put your catalog URL into a hotspot, have them click on it, it's going to stop the video, have them take them out, and they can do what they just saw. And so that's a really neat feature. Transitions, one of my favorites. Showing you quickly how to do transitions. So going to the edit button, clicking on transitions. To see what the transition looks like, just double click on what the transitions are available. And it's very easy to add those transitions. All you have to do is, once you've chosen which transition you want, is to drag and drop your transition in. And so what we'll see now is you can preview what that's going to look like. And don't worry if it looks a little choppy when you're doing all your editing. Once you start producing, it's going to be a lot smoother. And what you can do, and we're going to talk about this later, is when you produce, you don't have to produce like a 20-minute video. You don't have to produce the whole thing. You can just produce a portion just because if you want to see how it looks. And so this is what mine looks like when I do the final product. And I'm sorry my typing is so slow. But what you can actually do is speed up a clip so it looks like you're an amazing typer. And this just gives it a little bit more fun, a little bit more flash, keeps the students interested, just in case, you don't always want to fade to black or, do a white fade out. Just gives it a little bit more exciting, being exciting. Captions, this is another way to add information, somewhat like the callouts, but I think captions are a little bit more professional, I would say. And this is a quick showing you how to add a caption. All you have to do is go to the point where you want to add the caption and just start typing. Make sure to press finish when you're done. And then this is what it looks like when you start. It's not as obvious as those callouts, but once again, I think it does look a little bit more professional. And it helps people who have trouble, seeing colors and things like that. Quizzes and surveys. This is one of my favorites. I love this part of Camtasia. It's really easy to add a quiz. It's flash-based, and adding that is very, very simple. Just go to Flash Quiz. Everything here is really simple. And if you need help on anything, you can just ask. You can press that button saying "Assist me," and it'll actually take you through and show you what to do. So here I'm talking about the "I'm feeling lucky" button on Google, like what you use it for, and you can do your options, a multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, and I just type in my question. Once again, I apologize for my slow typing. And then to put your answers, all you have to do is click and start typing. To add more, just click Add. And then to choose which is correct or incorrect, all you have to do is click the little button, and that'll tell you which is correct. Now, let's say you have multiple ones and you don't always want your first choice to be correct. You can move those around, just so your students don't get onto you. And then once again, press finish. And I put one together just so you can see what the end product looked like. It's actually pretty schwanky. This is our LibGuides site, and they're having a session on LibGuides later. So if you haven't looked into LibGuides for your library yet, I suggest attending that site because it's a really cool product. Anyone knows the answer? Raise your hand. Yeah, what's the answer?
C.
All right. Is going to let me know if I'm correct or incorrect. You can also add a little saying, so if they got it incorrect, just be like, what, do you not know music at all? I didn't do that, of course, because I didn't want to be rude. But then you press no. And what you can actually do is if they got it incorrect, you can send them back to the start, or just like don't pass go. You have to watch this again, in order to continue on. You can have this, once they've submitted their answers, it can actually have an email sent to you, so you can see what their answers were. So if this is being used for a class, you can use this, in terms of scoring and giving them a grade, just so they know, that they're watching this video. All right, so now let's move on to producing. We've added all of our bells and whistles. Producing is very, very easy. When you press produce video as, it's going to give you some preset options. So if you're going to be putting these on a blog or a CD or your iPhone or the web or YouTube, it has those productions preset to maximize what the video is going to look like. But what you can also do is custom production settings. And this is the one that I like to use because I also use Windows Movie Maker and Muvee Producer. And to use those, you have to produce this as an AVI or another WMV file first, and then import it because it won't, once you've produced it as something else, you can't play around with it anymore. So, and I can explain more about that later if I didn't make myself clear. So if you do your custom settings, you can actually choose which setting you're going to like the best. If you are going to use quizzes and surveys, you have to produce it as a flash. And you're just kind of stuck with that. You can't do any more bells and whistles to it. You're done. But any of those other formats, you're going to be able to import into any other editing software and then do a little bit more to it. So some of the things I just talked about that I like to use to add a little bit of flair. I like to use Muvee Autoproducer 6.1. This has a 15-day free trial. Once again, it's the full version, so you can play around with it and see exactly what it does. And then, of course, Windows Movie Maker. Now, this is Muvee Autoproducer 1, and you see it has a similar setup with the clip-in. The reason I don't use this is because the editing is not very nice. You can't splice it. You can't move things around. You're basically stuck with this. But what I really like is down here under Select Style, again, right around here, you can add your style. So with my silent movie, I added a sepia style, and I was able to speed it up to comical. It's 1.5 times its original rate, so it really does look like an old-time movie. And if we have time at the end, I can show you what that looks like. It's just, once again, it's very easy. If you produce your movie in Camtasia as a WMV, you can just pull that in all together into your clip-in and add your style to it. Very simple, and then all you have to do is go down to Make Movie, and it makes your movie. I like to use Windows Movie Maker because it does have a few cool video effects and transitions that I like a little bit more than Camtasia. So then, I'll use those at the very end. I'll split my movie into a few so I can use those transitions and the effects. So now that you've completed your movie, how do you get it out there? How do you tell people about it? There's always the question whether you want to embed that movie directly on your web page so people can view it in their browser, or if you want to make it available for them to download onto their computer. We've decided to make it embeddable just because it gives the students quicker access to it. We also don't want people downloading it and defacing it or adding their own comments to it because that would just hurt my feelings. Marketing your movie. When we talk about, we have a new movie out, we always add it to the library blog, all 5 readers that we have. It would be good to do a Twitter feed too, if anyone, subscribes to your Twitter feed. Facebook status, so if you have any friends on Facebook, just letting people know, hey, there's a new movie out, come watch it. And then where do you put your movie? When we started out, we decided to use YouTube because it was free. But we noticed that the quality of YouTube was pretty sketchy, especially for some things where we're typing. It's blurry, it's hard to see. The movie is about that big, it's very small, and we decided to actually go with Screencast. And so just talking about YouTube versus Screencast, some of the pros, of course, it's free, but you are limited to only 10-minute videos and a small amount of memory. But it's easy for people to search it. So if anyone decided to go to YouTube and say, hey, I need to learn how to do, research in case law, if they were to search for your video, it would be really easy for them to find it. And then of course it's very easy to embed it in your website. But the cons is just the quality is just so bad. But for Screencast, they do have a free version. It is only limited to about 2 gigs of storage and 2 gigs of bandwidth. So for the movie that we showed at the very beginning, we figured out that you could do about 100 views of that per month. And while that might seem like enough for you, when we decide that's total, that's not just for that movie. So if we do multiple movies, we're just going to reduce the amount of people that people can watch that movie a lot. Some of the pros, excellent quality. I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but you can see very clearly what we're doing on the screen. Easily embeddable. They provide a link so you can put it right into your an HTML code right into your web page. Cons. We decided to go with the pay service just because the free service was it just didn't meet our needs. But it's not that expensive. It's $9.95 a month or $99.95 a year. You get a little bit of price break if you go for the full year, but you get quite a bit of storage and quite a bit of bandwidth mostly. So that was really good for us. Yes?
Are you following up like with Google Analytics to see, if your students are actually watching the entire film after you come up with something on your website?
No, that would probably be a good idea.
Because I've noticed, because we've had Sampler, we've made some screencasts with Captivate, and I've looked at the Google Analytics report that comes in, and more than 50% of users don't even watch the entire video.
They just start and then they just stop.
Yeah. Have you noticed, is there a time limit that works best for the videos that you can make?
3 to 5 minutes is usually their attention span. Otherwise, they're checking their Facebook status and doing other things. So if we can keep it short and sweet, we can keep their attention. And like I said, if we can get them to laugh, if they think, okay, what are they going to do next? Because they're such dorks, then that's usually the best way to handle that. So that's about it. It went way faster than I thought it would, talking about, but that just leaves more time for questions. One thing that I've learned by using Camtasia is always to plan ahead because there is that learning curve. My first movie took me about a month. I wasn't working on it the entire time because I have other duties, but I did find that it took me a while to really get the hang of it. And I would say that, if I were to do it again and I was working, that video at the same time and I was working on it the entire time, it probably would have taken me about 2 weeks to do that first video if I had nothing better to do. Now I would say I could probably, push out a video in a week if I really pushed it. Not too hard, and it's always a lot of fun and I enjoy doing it. So I actually look forward to the time that I've slotted to work on my movies. Go slow when you are using your cursor and you're dragging across the screen. You are familiar with doing things, but the people that you're showing the video to aren't familiar with it. And it makes all the difference to go slow. They're not going to think, oh gosh, when are they going to get on with it? They're really going to appreciate the fact that you've gone a little bit slower. Practice makes perfect. The first video that you put out probably is going to be your best video, but you are going to improve each step of the way. And I think the students do appreciate the fact that you are trying to, talk to them in their technology language. Tips and tricks. The University of Washington put together a great tips and tricks page. They did it for Camtasia 2 and 3, but it holds today for Camtasia 6, which is what the newest version was what we use. So if you do get the product and you are finding that you need a little bit more help, I would highly suggest going to their page because they do a great job of laying out the best practices for using Camtasia. So, any questions? Yes?
How do you decide what to do as a video?
We see what students are asking questions on the most, and then we start that. Case law and trend, big one. The next one that we're probably going to do is CFR, FR, just because, and LISA, because, they, for some reason, doing that kind of work, that legislative research and legislative histories just seems to go over their heads. So I thought having a video and having a visual on that would be really great for them. We are planning on doing Shepherds in print just because I don't think anyone, you can read about it, you can actually watch it, but I think you need to learn it a couple times if you're actually going to, want to do it. And I think showing people how to do it in print actually makes them appreciate Shepherds and Keysight much more. Yeah.
for the caption feature, is there a way to leave sort of a blank caption bar up the entire time?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I've been using that post-it feature,
Okay.
and aesthetically, it's not good.
Yeah, yeah, it does look a little Mickey Mouse, and that's why I do like using that caption. What you have to do is put in spacing to leave that up the entire time, but I think it works really well. And if you have any questions about that, they have a really in-depth tutorial on the TechSmith side about captioning. So
one aside to, I guess, a spiel or ad for Camtasia is that we did a lot of stuff for whiles. You know, everybody knows how to word process, but nobody knows how to write proof. So we did stuff like that, but I found that once that was finished, I was using it at my desk to answer questions from faculty. And it's simple things. Where's this button in Outlook? And things like that. And so Snagit, which is comes with
another texture
Camtasia, which is great screen markup, screen capture markup, was perfect. And now anything I send to the help desk that I'm having a problem, it's like, here is my problem. And they can see it and review it and do all that. So it has a lot of really sort of quick and dirty features for helping those one-off people. Somebody calls you or texts you or sends you that question, you can answer with very quick Camtasia.
Yeah, we are definitely a TechSmith library. We have Snagit, we use Camtasia, we're using Screencast, all TechSmith products, and using Jing to answer. I don't know if you've seen the Jing presentation, but that's also a really quick way. So if anyone has questions about, you know, how to use something, you can just do a really quick screen capture. Of course, you can't edit it, but that doesn't really matter when you're just answering those really quick questions about how do I find this, how do I use this. So yes, Camtasia is a great product. What we'd like to start doing, and what I'd like to start doing, is helping the professors with their classes, not just, you know, doing legal research and things like that, but I think some things could be illustrated better when you use a video. I was thinking before when I was in property class and we were talking about mortgages and deeds and things like that, I think I was 24, 23 at the time. I had no idea what a mortgage was, what a deed was. I've never bought a house before. So I think having a video to explain to people who are that young and really haven't experienced, you know, running to the courthouse and recording your deed and doing things like that would really make a big difference in the classes for the faculty. So let's not just limit it to library. Let's provide a service to our faculty and have them, you know, use these videos in their classrooms as well. Any other questions?
So your choice between YouTube and Screencast, I think it was. So I've never heard of Screencast. So how are you making the decision, or at least distributing which one of those products you're using? Since YouTube is somewhat ubiquitous, you know, between the two, how are you making that?
Well, you know, we did start out with YouTube, and we thought, you know what, there has to be a better way. So we did go and we tried out all different kinds of programs, and they all have that same problem with the quality. So then at that point we're like, you know what, we're going to have to pay for something. And it just so happens that since we're such TechSmith fans, we saw that Screencast, you know, had a product. It was very cheap, relatively cheap, and it provided exactly what we needed. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that we had such good history with TechSmith and how they've supported us, and you know, how they're answering our questions. That it was pretty much a no-brainer to go with Screencast.
If you look at the YouTube, you know, you've got that little box, and if you go to enlarge the screen, then you get a lot of pixels, and it looks it's very grainy, and we felt we didn't want that.
And I've actually, you know, decided to stop watching something before just because I couldn't see what was going on, and it's not worth it to me to watch it. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you very, very much.